It's been a really long time. I am so sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't really have anything else to say for myself. I'm genuinely gonna try to stop keeping y'all waiting. It just be a lot going on. Anyway, we gonna get straight into the episode today. We back with some confessions, y'all. Make sure you send in your confessions to neshama.cot@gmail.com, neshama.cot@gmail.com, and make sure y'all keep them kind of short and brief. It's okay if they're a little longer, but like not really okay if they're a little longer, so try to keep it to a minimum if y'all can. But anyway, getting right into it. Actually, I feel like that's kind of rude. I'm so sorry. I feel like I do owe y'all an update to an extent, because how are y'all supposed to build any type of relationship with me or get to know me if I don't ever tell y'all nothing? So that's my bad. Anyway, y'all, I had a good day today. I went to work. I came home. I handled some stuff, and now I'm recording. And after I record, I am going to call my man, and then I'm gonna make dinner, and I'm going to bed.
Sleep.
That's how the day is gonna go and happen for me, because when I tell y'all I have stuff to do, things are due, it's time. I literally had to get back into the office because I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Literally, what am I doing? Where have I been? And I can't even explain, like, oh my gosh, I need to get my energy up. I just feel like the world is so tired. Like, the world is literally so tired. Everything's going on. It's too much happening. Like, oh, I don't think I can cuss in the first couple of minutes. I don't know about that. But there's too much stuff going on in the world right now for people, I feel like, to be having much joy. Like, I feel like people are wanting to laugh and have a good time and be around their friends, you know what I mean? Kick it, kiki, ha ha ha. But also, too, at the end of the day, the world is very serious right now. Also, justice for Nolan Wells. R.I.P. to Nolan Wells. Like, that's just such a sad case. And again, just how everything in life is being handled right now, just from administration and just everything, for how they are killing us, black people right now, like just left and right. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up, but I also think it's equally frustrating that some people haven't woke up yet. So it's frustrating, and then not knowing if some people ever will wake up, or not knowing if some people ever will, you know, make a difference, make a change. I don't know, but it's a lot and it's hard. Anyway, okay, so jumping right into it, finally. I lied on my resume to get hired at a high-paying IT job. I was out of work for about 6 months, and a buddy of mine that works for a high-paying IT job told me that there was an open position. I used to be in retail management, and I never once checked anyone's previous job history or education.
What?
Nor did I even know how to.
What?
Outside of calling some references. Anyway, I put my application in. You know, sometimes I really read, like, I don't know why I be reading like that sometimes, but shit, at least I can read. Anyway, I put my application in, and on my resume, I put that I worked for IT before, and even put an actual company on the work history. I also put that I had a degree in information technology. None of this was true. I ended up landing an interview and got hired a week later. I have now been with this company for 1 year today. My buddy basically taught me everything I know and helped me learn as I go. I regret my decision to lie on my resume because I'm honestly struggling pretty bad with my day-to-day. My buddy is tired of helping, even though he won't admit it. I'm going in for my yearly evaluation this Friday, and I'm super nervous, but I'm hoping for the best. Listen here. You better ride this till the wheels fall off. Be finding something on the end, okay? In the back of this, be finding something else to do. Okay? Be gearing up for your plan B. If this job pays you well, you better collect all the coins you can collect and get the hell out of there. What's wrong with you? You don't gotta be doing this forever. How old you say you is? It don't even say how old you is. And also, too, if your friend is willing to help you, let your friend help you and keep going at this job. Save up some money and then leave the job. What's wrong with you? You trying to mess up the bag. You already did all this just to get into the job. You wrote it 12 days ago, or 13 days ago, but hey, don't mess up the bag. What you doing? You playing around. Stay where you at. Struggle. Get that money and struggle a little bit, and then, you know, on the back end, be preparing for your exit. Shoot, I don't know if you started living above your means, but let me tell you something about living above your means. Don't do it. Anyway, yeah. Stay the course, bud. You started this plan, get yourself out of it, but don't just up and quit. Don't make the struggle be for nothing. Get your money and then get up out of there until you got a plan to leave. You done faked it for this long. The girl I am dating thinks I am mute and I am perfectly able to talk. Hi, I've never loved talking, or to say it better, I've always done mistakes talking. It's too easy to be misunderstood. Roughly 1 year ago, I decided to stop using my voice completely, and I started using a small notebook when I have to engage in a conversation. At the beginning, it was weird, but I started loving it till it became totally normal for me. 4 months ago, I was on the tube and a girl approached me. She is really beautiful and nice. We had this sort of weird conversations where she was talking and I was writing. Fast forward, we are now dating and she still thinks that I'm mute. I really don't know what to do because I like her and I don't want her to react bad to the truth. I mean, you could eventually just tell her that talking makes you uncomfortable. You could just tell her the truth, and then she could also, two things can be true at once. Like, you could tell her the truth and then she could just choose to accept you because she already accepts you partially for who you are. So, I mean, you could think about that. I get paid to live and be friends with my roommate. It's sort of an odd situation, but when I was moving into a new city for college, I joined a Facebook group about finding roommates in that area. I didn't have a lot of money and would be working to pay my own rent, so I wanted somewhere cheap. After 2 potential places fell through, I was losing hope. Then I got a message from my roommate's mom. She basically explained her kids struggled to make friends and keep roommates around. She was super desperate and offered to pay half my rent each month. Oh shit. All I had to do was live with her kid and be their friend. I was also super desperate to find somewhere to live before the semester started, so I agreed. I've held out my end of the deal despite the fact that I absolutely hate my roommate. They are disgusting, they have no social awareness, completely helpless, super dramatic, and have an insanely messy social life, and generally just suck to live with. I absolutely hate them, but I do get to live in a really nice apartment for pretty cheap. Despite being a nightmare roommate and person, I do feel bad for them. I know if I found out, they would be devastated, so I've never told anyone about it. I'm gonna be real. You need to say something, but you need to say something when you find your own spot. And also, while you're sitting in there paying half the damn rent, you need to go get you a good paying job and get the hell out of there. She paying you good money. How can you have a shit roommate if you ain't never at home because you always working or doing something or going out or being somewhere else? You don't make that much money. It's just a place to sit there and crash your head. You better go, man, get out there. You better find out a way to hustle to get yourself out of that situation. But I'm telling you right now, while she paying half your rent, right now, while the mama is paying half your rent, get up and get active and get serious about your business. Because that's probably going to be one of the only ways you're going to get out of there. That's an advantage, friend. I don't know what you do. I don't know where you work. But and she paying you to live there? Hold on. Yeah. She offered to pay half the rent and pay you. All because she want to see her kid happy. Now the kid going to be mad as hell when you leave. And I don't really know if you should tell him. I don't know. I feel like one day when he being a real big, like a huge asshole, hey, your mama paid me to live with you, and if you don't know, go ask her. That's not none of your problems. I don't know. Don't ask me, because I would stay there. There ain't no way somebody can be that bad if you always gone. You don't even gotta really do too much there, okay? And in the meantime, tell the mama to hire a cleaner. If he messy, tell the mama is dishing out the bread. The mama got the bread. Man, you better tell them, hey, we need a cleaner up in here because he nasty. I lied to my barber for years and we never talked ever again. I'm French and I have been living in a big city in France for a few years, going to my barber almost every month. I always hated small talks and talking about random stuff since childhood. I was always introverted and just come in the shop and want my haircut done. The first time I came to that barber, I didn't think I would come back again, so I pretended to not speak French and only be able to speak English to avoid all the small talk. A few years later, he still thinks I'm an American lost in France. He doesn't speak a single word of English, and the only few times we've interacted, I use Google Translate on my phone. It felt nice not having to talk, but I was always so scared he would discover it somehow. I'm now moving countries and he will probably never know about this. Sorry, Mr. Barber, but thanks a lot for the nice haircuts. Oh my God. Huh? This is crazy. What is you doing that for? Like, you really want to, friend, do you have social anxiety? It's not funny, like, if you genuinely do. Like, that's real. But, like, are you okay? Do you have social anxiety? Like, why would you do that? That is not right. That man probably would have been a good friend. He probably would have been cool. And you over here just pretending. But I get it. You say you was introverted. You say you've been that way for a long time. You real straight. You won't talk about nothing, see no nothing, hear no nothing. I get it. But, like, damn, friend. It's that strict around you? Mug said, don't talk to me. Don't look to me. Don't do nothing. Okay? I don't want to hear that. Oh, I guess so. What's a secret you've kept from your family for years? I've been a vegetarian for 6 years, and my family still has no idea. I just quietly avoid the meat dishes at every holiday and let everyone assume I'm not that hungry. Explaining it would be a can of worms I'm not ready for. No, I get it, because sometimes people just be weird. I don't know. I definitely, I think people just be weird, you know? So, you never know. People just be acting like it's so unheard of to be vegetarian or like not want to eat any meat. People just act like it's so, oh, I don't want to eat meat. You don't want no protein? You don't need no protein? I eat all that. Like, it just be too much. Like, then they want to be like, oh, you need it. You need it. You need to do this. You need to do that. I don't need to do nothing but live my life and die. That's all I have to do in this lifetime. And have a whole lot of fun in between. That's why I say I need to live my life and die. That's it. That's the only two requirements of me, and be a kind human being. Other than that, me, whatever I do or don't eat, don't got nothing to do with anybody in here. As long as I ain't eating no people or nothing crazy like that, you know? People be so bothered by stuff, and it's just like, hey, there are bigger problems at large that we could definitely be focused on. Anyway, in college, everyone was cheating on exams, and I reported it. In college, everything was graded based on performance curves across the class. There was one class where almost the entire class was cheating during exams. The professor just left during the exams. That's problem number one. As someone who studied legitimately, I found this to be unacceptable, and it also made it harder to get a better grade because the curve was inflated. I was known as one of the smarter kids in class, so people were cheating off my answers. I created an anonymous email and reported this to the professor. On the final exam, they actually created multiple versions to try and curb the cheating, like version 1, version 2, version 3, so the person next to you would not have the same version. What's crazy in that people ended up, see, this is why I don't like y'all. Y'all don't be knowing how to, I'm sorry, I don't not like y'all, but y'all got to start writing these right. What's crazy is that people ended up swapping exams so they can make it easier to cheat off each other. I had a few acquaintances that wanted to copy my answers. I was so annoyed. I ended up filling out the wrong answer, so they copied the wrong answer. After they submitted their exams, I left. I fixed my answers to the correct one. Honestly, I understand. It really depends on what y'all was doing. My thing is, as long as it wasn't no damn medical school or somewhere where it's like you really, really, really can't afford to be fucking this up or getting the wrong answers. Like, if it's not something crucial, like if y'all going into like, you know, like marketing or whatever the case may be, like it really depends on what the case is. Because some professors are also just freaking hard professors and they give out ridiculous tests. So I can understand college is a lot. You know, it's a lot going on. I'm not saying that people should cheat, but again, I understand also working hard and be like, y'all ain't finna just mooch off my answers. I'm not saying that I blame you, but also too, like, okay, I don't know. Can you just tell me like what that actually did for you? Did it actually make anything better, or did you just keep living life as it was? I don't know. That's just a question. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm being dead ass serious. Last year, I was going through a rough patch financially, but I was too proud to admit I stole my coworker's lunch every Friday for 3 months. I know how bad this sounds, and I feel terrible about it now. Last year, I was going through a rough patch financially, but I was too proud to admit it to anyone at work. Every Friday, this guy from accounting would bring in these really nice homemade meals, like proper containers with pasta or stir fry or whatever. He'd put them in the shared fridge, and I noticed he always left around 1 p.m. for some standing appointment. I started taking his lunch right before he'd come back. Just on Fridays, I'd eat it in my car and throw away the container in the dumpster outside. He never said anything publicly, but I saw him looking Oh my God. He never said anything publicly, but I saw him looking confused a few times. Once he sent an email to the whole floor asking if anyone had seen his food. I never responded. The worst part is eventually he stopped bringing lunch on Fridays altogether. He probably thought someone was messing with him, or maybe he just gave up. I had convinced myself it wasn't a big deal because he could afford to buy something else, but that's a garbage excuse. I was stealing from someone who did nothing wrong, and I kept doing it because it was easy. I'm in a better place now, and it's been eating at me for months. I want to apologize, but I have no idea how to even start that conversation without making everything weird or getting fired. I just needed to say this somewhere because the guilt has been sitting heavy and I know I was completely in the wrong. Okay, if you really want to make amends, right? Because this definitely gonna get you fired because you stole somebody's lunch. What do you mean? You're just around here stealing people's food. Of course you're gonna get fired. If it was my establishment, you would have definitely got fired. Definitely, because you can't, what if that's like the only lunch that he really would have, or he was budgeting, or he was really trying to make sure like he was on it, and you just stole this man's shit. Anyway, if you really want to make amends, if you can save up, because it sounds like maybe like you don't have that much, but maybe like you can save up on one of your paychecks, like just get him a gift card to replace his lunch and be like, man, I heard somebody been taking your lunch. Like, send it to his office anonymously. I don't know. Or be like, I'm sorry, like somebody been doing that to you, and just be like, give him the money back for all the lunches that you stole. Give him like $300 and be like, I am so sorry somebody stole all your shit. Anyway, that's fucked up though. You stealing people food? I would have set up a camera or something. I would have been in that bitch waiting that Friday every day. Like this, waiting out the door to see if anybody took my stuff. I ain't gonna lie, because that taking somebody food, I don't care. That's a violation for real. I deliberately reported my coworker for something I knew everyone was doing. A few years ago, I worked in a warehouse. Almost everybody there was cutting little corners to make the job easier. People took longer break, used company tape for professional package, sometimes clocked in a few minutes early. I did all those things too, so I'm not innocent at all. Then one coworker got promoted instead of me. I was really jealous. Instead of just accepting it, I anonymously reported him to management for breaking company policy many times. The funny part is, everything I reported is actually true. But what I never told them was everyone else was doing the exact same things every day, including me. Management decided to make an example out of him. He lost the promotion, got written up, and after some time, he quit the job. Nobody ever suspected it was me because I acted surprised, same as everyone else. I even talked about how unfair it was, like I had nothing to do with it. For years, I kept telling myself I only told the truth, but I know that that was just an excuse to make myself feel less guilty. I didn't report him because I cared about company rules. I reported him because I was just jealous he got something I wanted. If somebody reported me with the same selective honesty, I would probably lose my job too. Sometimes I still think about him. Maybe his career went fine after that, maybe not, I don't know. But sometimes I wonder how different everything could be if I just accepted he was probably a better choice than me instead of trying to drag him down. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that's quite diabolical. Like, I just can't even believe you did that. Like, why would you do that? I think that this is so wrong. Like, what? You literally got mad and decided that they were gonna get in trouble. Like, what? What the hell? You got a direct target on their back. I'm not gonna lie, you should feel bad. You should feel bad. Why would you directly put a target on this man back? He didn't even do nothing. He doing the same shit you doing. The same thing you do to him could be the same thing that can happen to you later. You really need to be careful. Because it sounded like it was just this man's time to come up, and he was literally just following the rules of the environment. And as somebody, no. Thing is, this is so wrong for the simple fact, like, you just decided that this was what you were gonna do. You just literally said, that's what I want. He said inside here that you feel bad, but I don't think you feel bad enough. You just took some money out of somebody's pocket, all because you felt like they deserved it, or you deserved it more than them. That's wrong. I'm sorry, that's wrong. How about this? How about you get up? How about you change? How about you learn how to do? How about you learn how to be better in different ways instead of picking the one thing that everybody else is doing? How about you change? Did you get the position? What the hell? That's insanity. Suggested my son do a lemonade stand so I can get gas money. I feel like a piece of shit. I've never been good with money. The only reason I was able to purchase a home was by living with my parents while my son was a baby and my dad was strictly monitoring my finances so I would save money. Last year, I accepted a school position with summers off, which came with a painful pay cut. I already blew through my last paycheck and will not get paid again until the end of August. When my family returns to town, they will likely agree to let me clean their house for some money, but I'm less than a quarter tank of gas. My son is 9 and loves having a lemonade sale often. Last time, he made around $50. We're running this one afternoon and I feel bad, but I'm planning to borrow some of his money until I get paid. He's super sweet and always tries to give me money for helping, to which I only take the cost of the lemonade mix. I guess I just wanted to get my guilt off my chest. Here's the thing, the son is pulling his weight. What you finna do? You need to be better. And here's the thing, I've been there financially, right? I've been in a position where I've been down bad and I needed to borrow some money. I've been there before. And it's a lot closer to heart than you might think it is. But I've made mistakes with money before in the past and had to be bailed out. And here's the thing, you gotta be better, especially when you got a kid. You just have to take matters into your own hands, and that's literally just what it's gonna be. You have to take matters into your own hands. That's just what it's gonna be. That's what it is. That's how it gotta be. You gotta be better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have a kid. Your son is only 9, you said. So don't make it on him. And also, too, if you know that they work, try to actually capitalize off of that. But don't be working your son to the bone because he's just a baby, But to a certain extent, it can also teach him financial responsibility so both of y'all can learn at the same time. See if your parents will take your kid again for a little bit. If you really can't get on your feet and you feel like you're not going to be a stable provider, I know that might scare you a little bit, but get on your feet. You got to get on your feet. I don't know if none of these people ever going to see this. Anyway, you got to get on your feet. That's what you gotta do. Used to let my dealer go down on me in exchange for free weed. He was 23 years older than me, and I did it. He was 23 years older than me, and I did it regularly for almost 3 years. He would give me a free half ounce every time. Never did any other sexual acts with him, and all I ever had to do was lay there. I honestly used to look forward to it because he was really good at it, and I liked not having to spend any money on weed. Sometimes it would last almost an hour, but I didn't care. He also married and did it behind his wife's back, which makes me feel guilty to look back on. I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but sometimes I wonder if she ever found out what he was doing and left him. I really hope she did. I never told anyone in real life. Probably never will, though. Don't mess with people who are supposed to be committed, friend. We have to be better. After you found out bro was married, you should have skedaddled. I know it's, nobody wants to pay for the za, okay? Nobody wants to pay for it. We will all like a little bit of free za. Maybe not we all, but most of us would like a little free za. I get it. I understand wanting to taste the freedom of life. And that's a sweet, sweet combo. You know what I mean? Like head and weed. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not even trying to be one of those people who too deep into the pleasures of life, but hey, actually, yes, I am. I want to be knee deep in the pleasures of life. I want to be knee deep in that. What am I saying? Head and weed, like a good strain, a good little puff. I feel like if you're young and you're single, it's fun. But you just lost me a little bit when you said that he was married. Like, once you found that out, let me tell you something. A married man tried to talk to me once, and that was after he introduced me to his wife. I had ran into them. I brought her a bottle of wine upstairs, and one day when she wasn't around, he was like, oh, hey, yeah, I never asked you your name. And then he came straight out with it, and he was like, yeah, well, I like to have a little fun, and, I like how you look, and I like what you got going on. That's what he told me. And they lived upstairs from me in the same apartment building. He did not care. But yeah, no, I didn't talk to him. I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't even think twice about that man. I literally was like, oh, you have a wife. And I went about my day. Yeah. And then I proceeded to move out of that apartment building because it was already a lot going on over there. It was the hood. Like, it was bad. Like, oof. And my apartment almost got shot up. It was a lot going on over there. I read my partner's private notes and used them to look more thoughtful. A few years ago, I was in a relationship with someone who kept private notes on their phone. They were not hiding it from me. It mostly was personal thoughts, worries, things that they wanted to work on, and small reminders about what made them feel loved or neglected. One night, while they were asleep, I looked through those notes. I told myself I was doing it because I wanted to understand them better, but that was not the honest reason. I was insecure and wanted an advantage. I wanted to know what they were thinking without having to ask and risk hearing something uncomfortable. After that, I started using what I had read. If they wrote that they felt I never noticed small efforts, I suddenly became better at noticing them. If they wrote that they missed a specific kind of affection, I started doing that exact thing. If they wrote a certain argument had hurt them more than they admitted, I brought it up later like I realized it on my own. They thought I was becoming more emotionally aware. I let them believe that. The relationship eventually ended for other reasons, but they once told me that one of the hardest parts was losing someone who had finally learned how to understand them. That sentence makes me feel sick. I did not understand them better. I violated their privacy and then used what I found to make myself look like a better person. I just think you going in their phone is just crazy, and then pretending like you know exactly what's going on instead of having a conversation is crazy. Like, I don't know if maybe you was just struggling on how to bring up what you did, but genuinely, when it comes to relationships, honesty is always going to be the best policy. Every single time when it comes to approaching a boundary thing, like, you gotta start bringing shit up. I don't understand why people do little stuff like this. Like, don't go in somebody's phone. That's damn near like going in all their journals and just reading that. I think it's okay to address it from a communication standpoint and say, hey, you know, like, is there something more that you want to be sharing with me, or can you be more honest? But you should have went to your partner and been like, look, I did something I'm not proud of, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm sorry for going on your phone. I'm sorry for reading your notes, but, you know, I want to work on it and I want to talk about these things. Like, how can you help me be better, because I genuinely didn't know that, and if you don't tell me certain things, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to grow and be better? There's also parts of that where it's just like, learn, look around, pay attention, read the room. Some of y'all be in trouble because y'all just don't know how to read the room. That's really it. Like, or if you see or notice discomfort, go and seek it out further if you feel like you have the capacity to do that. And some of y'all just rather toy around with people and keep little things to yourself rather than speak it out. And I get it. It can be hard. Things can be tricky. You don't want to lose people. But hey, don't be playing all them damn games. Don't be playing all them games. Accidentally hit a dog. Now I want to hurt myself so bad. Don't know what to do. I was returning from a family dinner with my mom and dad. While entering the building, there was a dog, which I saw it running away, but I didn't know there was another one and accidentally ran it over, despite being very slow and careful. My father scolded me and almost compared me to a murderer. I feel extremely guilty for something I did accidentally, and I slapped my face hard many times. The physical pain temporarily helped, but now I'm crying again and again and again, and I don't know what to do. I absolutely love animals. I mean, you say you did it on accident. Like, there's not really much you can do. Sometimes it's just nature, friend. But, like, I don't know. What confuses me is how you said, oh. Wait a minute. I read this wrong. Y'all overreacting. Well, your dad is, at least. Because your dad can't compare you to a murderer. It was just an accident. Like, you didn't know that the dog was there. You said you were being and driving slow and careful. You didn't know the dog was there. What can you do? I think your dad is looking for somebody to blame for something a little deeper. I don't know. I'm not a therapist, but, you know, your dad is blaming you for nothing. You didn't mean it. You're not a murderer. What the hell? Unless you ran somebody over on purpose, though. Now that's a different story. I stole a rug from the laundromat and the owner showed up the next day. I went to my local laundromat to do laundry. The typical ladies were there. I'm pretty sure they are resellers because they are always washing random laundry, and a lot of it. Well, I went in to do my laundry, and this mat only had one big washing machine, so I go to use that one. Well, there was a rug sitting in a laundry cart by the big washing machine that was wet, like someone had took it out and did their load in the washer, just leaving it there in the middle of the aisle. I proceed to do my laundry. I did 2 loads. They both took 30 minutes to wash and then the other 30 to dry. The rug is still here, and nobody is here anymore. Nobody has come to check on their laundry. So when I was leaving, I took the rug home with me. The morning, I get a knock on my door, and it's the owner of the rug. This morning. I feel horrible for taking it, honestly. I thought someone abandoned it, or possible the ladies that are there, the potential resellers, decided they didn't want to deal with it because of the size of it. Needless to say, I won't ever be taking something that isn't mine again, and I won't be assuming something is just free ever again because it's super embarrassing. The real question I want to ask you is, why didn't you use any punctuation? You really are in trouble here. First you're going to steal the rug, and then you're going to tell the story and then barely tell it with no punctuation. I'm not even trying to shame you right now, but genuinely, I had to read this like 18 billion times. I ain't gonna lie. You shouldn't have stole it, but hey, we all been there. You probably just wanted a cute rug for your home. I really don't blame you, but damn. Learn how to use some punctuation, because I'm struggling. I hope you work it out. I don't know how they got your address, though. That's kind of weird. Don't you think? You should figure that out. Like, they had cameras, they know. Oh, you said they were the typical ladies. So, like, you talked to them before? Because how they knew? Also, too, like, if it was them, you ran off with the bag. Or you said it was the owner? Yeah. You can't be taking people's stuff, though. I don't know. I probably would have tried it, too, if I really wanted a cute rug. It really depends on how cute it was. But, yeah, that's crazy. I lied about finding a wallet so I could keep the cash inside. This happened around 8 years ago. I found a wallet in a grocery store parking lot. Inside was a driver's license, a few credit cards, and around $400 cash. First thing I did was take the cash, then brought the wallet to the customer service and told them that's exactly how I found it, like there was never any money inside. A few minutes later, the employee called the owner and told him they found his wallet. I was standing there listening. At the same time, I actually felt smart. I thought I found a perfect loophole. He got his wallet back with all his cards and ID, so in my head, I told myself it wasn't really stealing. I kept that to myself so I wouldn't feel guilty. Then the owner came. He looked so relieved. He thanked everybody, kept saying how grateful he was, and even apologized for causing trouble. Then I heard him say he was really worried because his rent was due that week. I just walked away before he could even see my face. The moment still stays in my head after all these years. Truth is, I didn't need the money as much as I kept pretending I did. I stole money from someone who was already having one of the worst days of his week. Then I hid behind some stupid technical excuse so I could sleep better that night. Looking back now, it wasn't clever. I was just a thief who got lucky, not caught. You know what? I ain't gonna never say I ain't never found no money on the ground and never turned it in. So I've definitely found some money on the ground and been like, well, that's mine. That's in my pocket. But, you know, over time, you never know because nobody's ever going to come back. Like, you drop money on the ground, but a whole wallet, you should have just returned the wallet as was, you know. I know it's hard to do shit like that, especially if you strapped for cash, but you say you didn't really need the money that bad. But maybe you thought you did. But here's the thing. You a thief. That's definitely thief behavior. But I'm glad that you came clean on here. Thinking back that day, maybe you should have gave him his money back. I ain't gonna lie, taking somebody rent money kind of foul though. Once you found out it was a rent money friend, you probably could have just gave it back and been like, damn, here you go, my bad. You never know what the owner would have, did for you if you gave him the cash back. You never know. But damn, that's fucked up. The poor rent. Cause he was probably struggling after you did that. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Now, why am I sorry to you? Hold on. I just had to think about that. Y'all, I'm so tired. Like, I really have not been in my whole head the whole day. Like, I'm so tired. But the next time you think about stealing something, just remember that. You never know who rent money or whatever you taking. Like, just try to be better. I know times it's tough. Life is hard. Like I said, I done stepped on $1 or $2 on the ground. I done seen a $20 bill on the ground before and picked the hell up. I've been there. Okay, but you know, you never know what nobody missing, so just leave it. Or you know, you never know when somebody might need a blessing. And maybe if you had more pressing financial matters, I would have understood, because it's kind of like, oh, but I need this too. But also too, just like hearing that it was the rent money, I would have turned around and gave it back. I ain't gonna lie, I would have been like, man, I'm so sorry, here you go. I would have felt so bad. But I don't know, we all say what we would do when we in a situation, but then end up not even doing that anyway. The thing is, you never know what you might do until you in that kind of situation yourself. So we can all say what we would do and what we wouldn't do in certain situations, but at the end of the day, everybody just human and they just really just be living. Except for people who do really weird fucked up shit. And that was definitely on the line. But like, hey, you had the whole wallet, whole everything, and you heard him say his rent was due, friend. Like, that's kind of crazy. Anyway, you guys, make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you push that notification bell so you can always see me when I'm posting and everything like that. Y'all, I have not been behind the camera in so long, so thank you guys for sticking with me through this episode. And as always, the reading gonna get better because these sentences be whooping my ass, these paragraphs. But it's also because people don't use punctuation. Like, what am I to do? What am I to do? People don't be wanting to use punctuation. Don't got nothing to do with me. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of In Confidence, and we will see you next week, baby. Bye.
Running the rats like I want them. Count up the red, we gon' want them. Carrots on one of my opponents.